Hi there, it's Friday, and it's time to think about the coming week and the new module. As I like to do with each new module, I'm posting an image here by Claude Monet to give you a first peek at what you're going to be learning about, and hopefully to entice your senses with the brush strokes, the colors, to get you curious about what you're going to be learning about Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. I also like to post the calendar, the 2 or 3 weeks that we're sort of in the middle of. And I want you to see that, again, I'm noticing how hard you are working. You've been working really hard. You're in a late start short-term class, which means you are squeezing 16 weeks of work into a much smaller chunk of time. So you've been working hard. Yay for you for sticking it out, staying with it, having fortitude, just, pumping those muscles. So you've come to this point today, the 29th, where you're looking at realism in the 19th century and focusing on the artist Manet, so important as a hinge point. And then originally the schedule called for you to move really quickly into what follows realism, which is Impressionism. But I want you to have time to take a breath. I think you've had a lot to absorb and you need time to digest. This is like a Thanksgiving meal. You need a break. You need to go take a walk. So that has been postponed until 11/3, till Wednesday, right? So you have a couple more days to get your bearings about Impressionism, such an interesting and very beloved episode in art history. So I'm highlighting, hold on, let me fix this. I'm highlighting the new dates. So when I move something, I put the line, the cross-out line, so you know that it's not that date, but it's not canceled, right? It's moved forward, so that's why I'm using the yellow highlighter. So that discussion is moved till Wednesday. Your quiz will be moved till Friday. So you have only 2 items next week, Wednesday and Friday. And then the following Monday, you're going to be moving fairly quickly to Cubism. And you should let me know how manageable this is, because I know you're doing a lot, right? And I want to hear how I can help you. And I want you to still find pleasure in this, even if it feels like, my gosh, I'm working really hard. So one of the pleasures of this section is that we're looking at paintings that are extraordinary. And they're paintings that are very much about being a modern person in the modern world. And we also see these historical processes in which cities are changed. Gentrification is happening. So there's a lot to relate to. And this defining avant-garde Impressionism really introduces a whole different approach to the act of representing the world. Some of you have already noticed that Manet is using broad brushstrokes, emphasizing the flatness of the surface. There'll be even more of that in Impressionism. And I want you to understand that Manet is a bridge figure. He is a realist painter who is also paving the way for Impressionism and affiliated with the Impressionists. He's both. I'm noticing in the discussion of realism that some people are confused, thinking of him really as an Impressionist, but in your discussion on Manet, I am asking you to deal with him as a realist, which is what he's doing in 1863, when he's painting artworks like Olympia, Déjeuner sur l'herbe, and the Folies Bergère. So what's interesting about art history is we come to a point now where exact dates matter. The difference between what Manet is doing in 1863 versus Monet in 1872, that's significant. Increasingly, as we move forward in history, the pace of change is speeding up in a way that makes each year or decade significantly different than the one before. In a way that's familiar to us, right? Because if you live in the 21st century, you know that, the 2000s are a different world than the world of 2015 to 2020. The 1980s are very different than the aughts, as people have called the 2000s, right? So there's a sense that that change is dramatic and rapid, and each year or decade is almost its own era. Pay attention to that. That's going to keep happening moving forward.